to connect a region of over 600 cultural bridges between our lands.
Hello and welcome to ASEAN in Focus. I'm Maricar Velasco, delivering to you the latest news in and around the ASEAN region. On today's headlines, the Department of Foreign Affairs confirmed Monday 4 more Filipinos on board the quarantined cruise ship in Japan tested positive for the 2019 novel coronavirus acute respiratory disease. Thai mall shooting survivors tracked killer via CCTV. Cambodian authorities and local villagers rescue a male wild elephant trapped in a muddy pond in the country's northeastern wildlife sanctuary in Modolkiri province. The Department of Foreign Affairs confirmed Monday 4 more Filipinos on board the quarantined cruise ship in Japan tested positive for the 2019 novel coronavirus acute respiratory disease. The agency said the 4 who were among 6 newly confirmed cases of the virus are now being treated in a hospital. It now brings to 5 the number of positive cases. The agency reported last week the first Filipino 2019 nCoV case inside the ship. In a recent statement, an embassy's Deputy Chief of Mission, Robespierre Bolivar, said the Filipino is responding positively to treatment. There are more than 500 Filipinos still on board the vessel, which is docked off the port of Yokohama, Japan since February 4. The embassy is closely coordinating with Japanese authorities and is in constant communication with the Filipinos still inside the ship to provide them assistance. The Japanese Health Ministry said the ship would remain under the mandatory 14-day quarantine period until February 19. President Rodrigo Duterte on Monday night vowed to repatriate overseas Filipino workers should the 2019 novel coronavirus outbreak worsen.
Kung nagkamatayan na talaga at ang mga Pilipino doon pinagtutulak na, whether you like it or not, I will bring them home. I will bring them home because they have no other country to seek shelter. Kung ang Pilipino doon pinapaalis, ipupunta tayo and we will marshal all available carriers there by ship or by air. Kunin natin sila.
Duterte assured that there will be safety precautions done for all OFWs who wish to be repatriated from countries with confirmed cases of 2019 nCoV infection.
Impose the rules and I'll tell them to strictly follow it. Do not break the rules. Kaya pagka ganon, you break the rules, you forgo with some of the protocols. Ayaw ninyong makinig doon, kaya mas mabuting, that is when trouble starts.
On Sunday, 30 overseas Filipino workers who just returned home from China's Wuhan city, ground zero of the 2019 nCoV acute respiratory disease, were transferred from the chartered plane into their dedicated buses and brought to the athletes' village in New Clark City in Tarlac, which will be their home for the 14-day quarantine period. Government assured that all preventive and precautionary measures are in place to ensure that the adjacent communities of NCC will not be placed at risk.
We are prepared to handle all public emergency in case the worst possible scenario happens.
For 8 days, an AFP team lived and worked at the center of the global health emergency, witnessing how life in the Chinese city of Wuhan was turned upside down as it was cut off from the world and as an extraordinary health crisis gathered pace around the world. Watch this.
This is Wuhan, ground zero of the coronavirus epidemic, which is causing alarm worldwide. The usually bustling central Chinese city of 11 million people has become a ghost town as residents stay in their homes with normal life on hold. A man lies dead on the street, unattended for at least 2 hours, a clear sign of how stretched the city's emergency services are. AFP could not confirm how he died, but authorities take no chances. What is clear, though, is that the virus has caused hundreds of deaths. Within China, the number of fatalities and infections is rising daily, and the outbreak has spread to more than 20 countries. In Wuhan, a steady stream of ambulances bring in sick patients to overstretched hospitals. Memories of the deadly SARS virus have been resurrected, and fear is stalking the country.
I don't know the results yet. I'm a bit worried. I'm infected.
Every family stays at home instead of going out. Everyone tries to have less communication. Because the epidemic's growing quite fast, the government's doing a lot of prevention and control work.
A new 1,000-bed hospital was built in 10 days, with military medics and experts brought in to help deal with the crisis. Spread of the disease prompted the Chinese government to lock down several cities and restrict travel. The death of Li Wenliang, whistleblowing doctor who was reprimanded for warning about the virus, has sparked rare calls for political reform and free speech in China.
He's a hero. I fully agree. He's very brave and honest to be able to say the truth to people.
In a cruel twist of fate, the outbreak coincided with the Lunar New Year, when hundreds of millions of people crisscrossed China. For this couple, there were few festivities, just a quiet dinner under lockdown.
Normally, during the New Year, we would go visit family and friends. We saw elders to wish them Happy New Year. We saw family to wish them Happy New Year. It was a very lively moment, but this year is different. We can't go everywhere we want. We can only stay home.
It's another day in Wuhan. Scenes like this have become commonplace. It was at this seafood market, which was also selling exotic wildlife, where the virus is thought to have emerged late last year. From these humble surroundings, a crisis has been unleashed, and effects are being felt not just in China, but increasingly across the world.
The World Health Organization Secretary General Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus announces that a team of WHO experts has just arrived in China to work on the outbreak of the new coronavirus with their Chinese counterparts.
We have fully empowered them. We don't want to tell them to do this or that. And that's what we told the advanced team. Because these are experienced people and they know what to do. So we want them to be really free, empowered, and see things for themselves, and then, tell us, answers to the questions that we still have. There are some people from some corners who like to politicize it. I think we have to avoid that. We want scientists who would really focus on the problems and tell us their solutions. So this is science based on evidence, and we're expecting that experts, especially in this area, to join and help us in finding solutions to the unknowns or answers to the unknowns.
A British man managed to pass on the coronavirus to at least 11 other people without ever setting foot in the epicenter of the outbreak in China, in an infectious journey that shows how deadly virus can spread rapidly around a globalized world. The adult British citizen who has not been named publicly caught the virus while attending a conference in Singapore and then passed it on to several compatriots while on holiday in the French Alps before finally being diagnosed back in the UK. Of those infected by the man, 5 have been hospitalized in France, 5 in Britain, and 1 other man on the Spanish island of Mallorca. Chinese researchers investigating the animal origin of the deadly coronavirus outbreak in China said Friday the endangered pangolin may be the missing link between bats and humans, but other scientists said the search may not be over. An earlier study, since discredited, pointed to snakes, and there remains numerous candidate species in the Wuhan wildlife market thought to be ground zero of the epidemic. The SARS outbreak of 2002 to 2003, involving a different strain of coronavirus, was transferred to humans by the civet, a small mammal prized in China for its flesh.
Sama bau seperti komodo, ya kan? Yaitu dari Pulau Komodo itu sendiri. Dan
Net25 is now available on OSN, the largest entertainment network in the Middle East and North Africa. Watch your favorite Net25 shows on OSN channel 725, same day as the Philippines. Net25 shows live and on demand anytime, anywhere, on any mobile device on OSN Play.
The elderly undeniably serve as a significant part of society as they impart valuable knowledge and life lessons that can't be learned from school. That's why they should not be neglected and forgotten. Through EBC Cares, their societal contributions were once again recognized and their wellness ensured. They received free medical and dental services, such as eye checkup,
Mga kababayan, lalo na sa mga OFWs sa Middle East at North Africa, may good news kami para sa inyo. Mapapanood na ninyo ang Net25 at iba pang Filipino channels na hatid ng OSN sa presyong abot kaya. Libre ng box at installation, walang admin fees at no extra charges. Saktong entertainment na sakto lang sa budget mo. Bumisita na sa pinakamalapit na OSN store o dealer and subscribe now! Sa Net25 at OSN, siguradong at home ka dito.
Welcome back. In a fourth-floor toilet of the Terminal 21 Mall, shoppers jammed cubicle doors against the entrance to keep out a Thai soldier on a shooting spree, tracing his movements through fragments of CCTV passed on by friends on the outside. Barricaded in the women's toilet with a few dozen others, Chanatip Somsakul, a 33-year-old music teacher, and his wife poured through social media and made frantic calls to friends and family. Their daughter Chopin sat watchfully on a ledge, a 3-year-old bystander to a mass killing without precedent in Thailand. Nakhon Ratchasima, a mid-sized Thai city entwined like much of the northeastern ASEAN region by tight family connections and social media networks, quickly began to rally to its own trapped inside. Partia Arie hid in a shop just meters from a Thai soldier on a shooting spree, watching CCTV with bated breath as the gunman paused on his rampage that would leave 29 people dead. She and 21 others took shelter when they heard rapid gunfire ring through their Terminal 21 shopping mall in the northeastern city of Korat on the weekend.
ทางพนักงานเขาก็เลยให้แจ้งว่าคนที่หลบอยู่ข้างหลังร้านสามารถเข้าไปในห้องของพนักงานได้ค่ะและเสร็จแล้วก็ช่วยกันดูกล้องวงจรปิดมันจะเห็นหน้ารูปเป็นภาพหน้าร้านนะคะคนร้ายจะยืนอยู่หน้าร้านใส่ชุดเดียวกันกับทหารเลยค่ะใส่ชุดปิดหน้าค่ะถือปืนแล้วก็มองซ้ายมองขวาค่ะใช่ค่ะถ้าเป็นบางคนว่าที่เขาส่งมาเป็นคนค่ะอาจจะมีชื่อเพราะอย่าง I feel like 50-50 lives I feel maybe not certain, unsure. When I left, I don't know what's going on with.
Australia and Indonesia announced a 100-day plan on Monday to implement a long-awaited trade deal as the two countries hailed a new beginning for their sometimes troubled relationship. The two G20 economies hope to deepen trade currently worth a modest $12 billion a year in a region increasingly dominated by China's economic and military might. Addressing Australia's parliament on a landmark state visit, President Joko Widodo cast the two nations as would-be avengers, forces of good, uniting to defeat a common enemy and shared challenges like protectionism, intolerance, and climate change. Widodo said his visit to Australia marked a new beginning of a new relationship between the two nations. The 58-year-old former furniture manufacturer was sworn in for a second term late last year, promising to reduce widespread poverty as Indonesia becomes one of the world's largest economies. Negotiations over the Australia-Indonesia trade deal began in 2010, and it was ratified by Indonesia's parliament last week ahead of Widodo's visit. The agreement will eventually see the elimination of all Australian trade tariffs, while 94% of Indonesian duties will be gradually eliminated. Greater access to the Australian market is expected to spur Indonesia's automotive and textile industries and boost exports of timber, electronics, and medicinal goods. The pact also includes improved access for Australia's agriculture industry to Indonesia's vast market of 260 million people. Australian universities, health providers, and miners will also benefit from easier entry to Southeast Asia's biggest economy. In a joint public appearance with Widodo in Canberra, Australian Prime Minister Scott Morrison outlined a 100-day action plan for implementation. He called the long-delayed deal a mutually beneficial arrangement, one that sees the cooperation of our economies for the strong growth that we will see over the next decade and beyond. The leaders also eyed talks aimed at making it easier for Indonesians to enter Australia and a review of Australian travel advice for tourist destinations in Indonesia, according to Morrison. Cambodian authorities and local villagers rescue a male wild elephant trapped in a muddy pond in the country's northeastern wildlife sanctuary in Modolkiri province. The elephant had fallen into the pond during the early morning hours of Monday, a spokesman for the Environment Ministry said. It was rescued in the afternoon. There are about 400 elephants in the wild in Cambodia and about 50 held in captivity, according to an animal rescue NGO. The demand for animal parts threatens Cambodia's dwindling elephant population found in the northeast and southeast forests, where illegal logging and deforestation is reducing their habitat.
Phải cầu vịt trao vậy? Trao, ai cũng trao vậy luôn. Ai nó lại sao luôn? Nó không đi hạt trùng đi mày.
And that is the latest news in the Southeast Asian nation. Stay updated about the ASEAN region. I'm Maricar Velasco and I'm 1 with 25.